What the heck am I doing? What's up? Is it working? Sorry, I keep like switching apps on my phone. All right. What's going on, guys? How is it going? What's up? What's up? What's up? Would you guys, how many of you guys follow me on Instagram? I'm thinking about going live on my other phone on Instagram too at the same time. I guess we'll see how many questions I get on here. And then if it's kind of slowing down, I might go on Instagram live at the same time. So really cool thing. I know that like a lot of people do like these live streams and they do want the videos to be uploaded and saved for like future. So you can watch them in the future, or if you miss the live streams. So what I did was I created a new YouTube channel, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete these from this channel, but then I'm going to upload them to a new YouTube channel. So you guys can watch them there if you want to. It'll probably be a little bit harder to access, I guess, just because it's not going to be on my main YouTube channel and you have to go to my other one. But I think it'll be better for the people who do want to watch these in the future. Sorry, I'll scroll through the comments here. How's your guys' morning? Is everything going good? Let's see. What's up? What's up? What's going on, Benedict? Simo. Is that how you spell it? Could I make a video on Fiverr? Yeah, I could. What exactly would you like to know about Fiverr? Is bioengineering a good major before med school? I would do whatever major that you enjoy. I mean, you can literally like major in English and art and music and still go to med school. So whatever you enjoy the most is what I would recommend you do for undergrad. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate the congrats. What's up? How tall am I? So I'm like about 5'6.5". I don't know. I just rounded up to 5'7". If I put shoes on, I'll be 5'7". So I'm pretty short. What's up, Mike? What's up? Greetings from the Netherlands. Appreciate it. How much fiber is required and how does it help with bodybuilding? So I think I don't really know the exact requirement. I'd have to do more research on that. But I think about like a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but I've heard recommendations of like 20 grams of fiber a day. Whether that's a lot or not enough, I don't really know. I haven't done a ton of research on it. But for fiber, so fiber is carbohydrates that don't get digested and they help you, they basically just go through your system. So they basically help you with the bowel movement. And if you're having troubles with that, then I would increase your fiber intake. What's the name of the other channel? So let's see. The name of the other channel is EJ''S. So EJ's Life. I don't have there's no one subscribed to it, so I don't have a custom URL or anything like that. So it's a long URL, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post that URL in the community page of this channel so you guys can find it super easy there and then just subscribe to the channel through that. But yeah, it's called EJ's Life with an apostrophe. Let's see. Yes, being short is very advantageous for gymnastics. I was actually on the taller spectrum of gymnasts. So when I was in gymnastics, I was actually wishing I was shorter. Let's see. Yes, I live in. Oh, where do I live in the U.S.? It's a secret. The main reason why I don't tell people where I live right now is because, so I'm in the U.S., but I'm in a state with not very many med schools, and then if you find out which med school I'm in, it's very easy to find me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll tell people in the future, but not right now. Um, appreciate it, Amnav. What are my 2018 plans? So my 2018 plans are pretty specific around med school. I take my step one June 15th, so I'm gonna be gearing up towards that. And then after June, like really, I take my step June 15th, and I have to be back to school at June 25th. So then we start our third year rotations, and that's basically like where you're in the hospital, seeing patients, um, basically acting, I don't know, just doing your rotations. So that's going to be taking up the majority of my time. We also plan on getting married this year. So that will hopefully be happening in December. And then, yeah, those are the big 2018 plans. Let's see. I appreciate the congrats on the engagement, James. Um, you're an MD right now. What is possibilities in cosmetology? Are you asking like what are the possibilities I do cosmetology or for you? How much protein should you intake to build muscle? Your weight is 190 pounds and you're a female. So for muscle building, it's typically recommended that you have about 1 gram or 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. So if you're 190 pounds, then I would take at least 190 pounds of protein. Did I follow a diet regime or yeah, I made my own diet. I basically calculated my macros and then picked foods that fit those macros. So that was my diet plan. 5'6" or 5'7" is my height. Let's see. What's up? What's up? Isn't the process of being a physician really long and hard? Yes, it's long, it's hard, but it's worth it. Doing a report for biochemistry right now. Okay. Yeah, Mike, go ahead and follow my new channel. It's called EJ's Life. I'll post the link in the community tab, and then you can find this live stream there. I hope. I actually haven't tried. So what I'm going to do is this video is going to upload. I'm going to save the file and then delete it from my my main channel. So hopefully that works. Did I shadow a doctor during pre-med? Yes, I shadowed. I think I shadowed 4 doctors during my entire college career. I shadowed 2 orthopedic surgeons, 1 trauma surgeon, and then 1 breast oncologist. Let's see. Scrolling through here. Do I have interest? You have interest in talking orthopedics, taking orthopedics? Yes, I do. We'll see. A lot of it depends on step 1. How bad is it to take Concerta and coffee? I'm not. What is Concerta? I'll just Google it real quick. Concerta. Oh, ADHD. So it's a stimulant, I think. Most ADHD meds are stimulants. Methylphenidate. So yeah, it's a stimulant, but if you are taking, I think you can take that and coffee. You just have to kind of monitor how you're feeling. Like if you're already hyped up on your medication, then I wouldn't drink coffee. But if you're feeling tired and you're on your medication, then I don't think coffee would necessarily hurt unless you're drinking like 5 to 10 cups of coffee a day. Then I probably wouldn't do that. I'd try to limit your coffee intake. Um, all right, so hey Ethan, how tall are you? 17-year-old considering med school. I'm 5'6" or 5'6.5". That's good. You're considering med school. You're gonna be expanding your channel, more lifestyle. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd recommend that. Did I always want to be a doctor? Actually, I wanted to be a vet when I was really young, and then I don't know, because I always liked animals and stuff like that. But then no, I like I don't like watching movies or reading books of dogs dying. So I figured being a vet would not be a good idea. Um, Thoughts on keto? I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, like, unless you're pretty overweight, like really overweight, then I wouldn't try keto. Main reason is because like keto is not sustainable. It is a method to lose weight quickly, but it's not something that you can keep up for the rest of your life. It's expensive. I mean, dieting in general is expensive, but keto I feel like is more expensive and it's more taxing on your body. So, I mean, a lot of people do get results. A lot of people do keto safely, but I would avoid it. I wouldn't use it as like a first line diet. I would do like traditional counting your macros or traditional clean eating or I don't know, whatever you find works best for you. Let's see. You love me and Lady Gaga. You're joining medical college this year. That's awesome. I've never been categorized with Lady Gaga, but that's pretty cool, I guess. Um, how do you go about getting references for med school? So I'm assuming you mean letters of recommendation. Is that right? But yeah. So for references of med school, it can be kind of awkward. So for my med school, or when I applied, I did one of my teachers, one of my upper division biology teachers. I did. We have like a pre med. I don't know what you call it, like a committee interview where they interview you. It's like a mock interview, and then that committee writes a letter of recommendation for you, and that counts as two letter of recommendations. So that's what I did, and then I did another physician letter of rec, which I shadowed. So I think you should ask a physician that you shadow, but make sure you have like you shadow them multiple times or you have some kind of personal relationship with them, and then and the teacher you have to do well in the class and know them well. So in order to build that relationship, I'd recommend going to office hours quite frequently, just talking with that professor and show them that you really care in the class that you're learning. And then towards the end of the year, you can ask for a letter of rec. Um, and then what else? And then if your college doesn't do like a pre med interview or a committee interview, then I'd try to build that relationship with multiple professors and multiple doctors. Let's see. Scrolling through here. Intermittent fasting. So if you like intermittent fasting, if that works for your schedule, then I would do it. I personally didn't have like a great experience with it just because I worked out early in the morning and then working out fasted for me, like I didn't like that. So, but if it works for you, I know like a lot of people do enjoy it and it's all about scheduling really. There's no real benefits. Like a lot of people say like, oh, you produce more growth hormone when you're on intermittent fasting. That's not really true. It's not a significant amount. Uh, and as far as like muscle loss, maybe, but you don't lose a ton of muscle on intermittent fasting either. Tips for slow cooker use. I would pick like if you're cooking meat in there, I would pick kind of fattier meats. I know that that's probably not ideal when you diet, but like slow cooking chicken breast or like lean pork or something like that usually doesn't turn out the best, or lean beef for that matter. So it depends. Like if you're dieting, that's what you have to do. But if you just want like good meals, then I would pick fattier meats and then lots of vegetables, all the vegetables you enjoy, and I think you'll make a good meal with that. Creatine for swimmers, yes, no, why? I've never really thought about that, but I don't think so. Creatine, the way it works is it's like an ATP storage, right? And like the studies on creatine show most benefit in power output. So specifically when you're lifting weights. Now, does that translate to increasing your power during your swim stroke? I don't really know. It could. It could be beneficial, but you could also gain weight. I would think swimming is very similar in gymnastics where you want to increase your strength to weight ratio. Um, so increasing creatine might increase your strength, but it might also increase your weight. So I think it kind of depends on the person. I would try it out. It's not like a banned substance or anything, so I would try it. If you find benefits with it, then stick with it. But if you don't, then I would stop taking it. Or if you feel like you're slowing down, then stop taking it. Let's see. Scrolling through comments here. All right, so no problem now or never. Can you go to med school with a family and take care of? Yes. I actually have a classmate who just had his third kid, and yeah, he's married. He's got three kids. So there's actually multiple classmates with kids. Um, how did you get letters of recommendation from other positions in pre-med? I kind of answered that, so that'll be, you can rewatch this and that'll be on there. Does anybody in med school take Adderall or other prescribed stimulants to do better? Yes. I mean, like, people don't go around saying like, "Oh yeah, I just took some Adderall from some so and so." Like, usually the people who are open about taking Adderall are prescribed it. So that's that. But I do know that there are people that take it that aren't prescribed. As a pre-med, did I take any additional classes beyond the most normal requirements? Genetics, anatomy, biochem. Also, did it help? So yeah, I took. I mean, no, I mean, I guess I just took all the. I was a bio major, so I took all the required bio classes. I didn't take histology, which I think would be beneficial, but I did take genetics that helped. I didn't take anatomy just because they didn't recommend it. I did take biochem and that helped too. So I would recommend to take all the required ones, but you don't really have to go outside of that. Kenneth says, yes, you should take additional classes beyond the normal requirements. It depends on what your college requires in order to graduate, but I felt like my college did a pretty good job of requiring all the necessary classes. And also the med school colleges will require certain classes that they find beneficial. How often did you read chapters in your book, or did you study mainly from lecture? Mainly from lecture. Reading a book is pretty dense, and it's kind of not the most efficient time. I would use it as a reference. So if something's not explained very well in lecture, then use your book as a reference. So go back to that and say, I didn't really understand this. I'm going to read it in more detail in the book. But I wouldn't read, I don't know. I mean, like, if you have all the time in the world, you could read it, but I didn't do that. Thoughts on intermittent fasting. I talked about that, so that'll be on the upload to my new channel. Food to eat if you're vegan, other than beans, tofu, lentils. Have you tried vegan plant-based protein powders? That's an alternative. I'm guessing you're talking about protein because the foods that are protein sources. Other than that, I'm not too sure. I would Google or YouTube vegan bodybuilders and see what they do to get their protein intake. How am I enjoying my engagement so far? I'm loving it. It's good. How did you get a physician letter of rec? So I shadowed a doctor that I knew pretty well. He was actually my teammate's dad. So he went to all of our gymnastic meets, and I developed like a pretty good relationship before I asked him for a letter. But basically, like, you just, when you ask, you just shadow them, and towards the end of your shadowing session, if you felt like you got to know the doctor pretty well, I would just ask him for a letter of rec there. What's my workout split right now, and how much and what type of cardio do I do? So right now I do zero cardio. I think you should always do cardio if you have the time, but I don't really have a ton of time to just go on the treadmill, so, or Stairmaster or whatever. So right now my current split is like a push-pull legs. So I work out 6 days a week. The first day is chest and shoulders, the second day is back and arms, and then the third day is legs. And then I'll repeat that. And then take a rest day on the seventh day. And I will actually be uploading my entire workouts. I mean, my split change, or my workouts change from day to day, but I'll be uploading like videos on my like core workouts and my splits, and those will all be coming throughout the months. What are your go-to meals when you don't quite know what to eat? Chicken and rice is pretty go-to. Other than that, It's just kind of whatever I have in the fridge, I guess. But usually it's like chicken or pork and rice, something like that. Am I still thinking of going into ortho? Yes, but it depends heavily on step one. Any advice for choosing a major as a pre-med student? Which classes would you take as an undergrad that helped you most? So, I it depends on your school, but I guess the most efficient way to do it would be to take a biology or a chem major, just because the med school requirements are going to match up with that major requirement. So that way, kind of knocking two birds out with one stone. But if you enjoy something else like music or art or political science or business, I would take those. I mean, a business major wouldn't help, especially if you, I mean, wouldn't hurt, especially if you're going into private practice. But but yeah, I mean, the most efficient way is to do like either a bio or a chem major or a pre med major if your school has that. Um, how many relationships did I have before I met Madison? I had um, maybe like three or four pretty. I don't know. I'm not gonna count high school or middle school. I'm not gonna really count that. I guess high school I had like three girlfriends, like steady girlfriends, and then college I didn't really like steadily date anyone until Madison. So I guess three, like, but I don't know. It's how like how you serious you can take high school relationships. Since arms are involved in almost all muscle group workouts, is 24 hours enough for arms to recover? If you're sore, I wouldn't train it. But if you're not sore, then yeah, 24 hours is enough. What's going on? If you take two servings of protein at once, does your body consume all of it, or is it better to space it out? So your body has a limited number of receptors, right, or transporters, or things to digest your protein. With that being said, when you increase your the amount of food you eat, digestion slows, so you can try to absorb all of it. Ideally, if you space it out, I think it would be better. But if you can't, it's not like the end of the world. And there's like people saying, oh, you can only absorb 30 grams of protein at a time. That's definitely not true. I mean, like, there's some huge bodybuilders that eat way more than their body weight in protein, and they're absorbing more than 30 grams of protein at a time. So it all depends. I mean, if you can only fit it in at one time, then that's what you can do. And it's not going to be like super detrimental if you don't split it out. But if you can split it, I think it would be beneficial. Do I play any video games? Unfortunately, I don't. I wish I did. I mean, I wish I had time to, but I don't. Um, I don't know. I got really into video games, and then I kind of have like I have to be the best mentality, and then it consumes my life, and then I stop doing other things that are more important. And I just found that like I don't know. I'm not really benefiting anyone doing video games, except it's my own pleasure. So I like to I don't know. I try to do things that are more helpful to other people than just play video games for my own pleasure. If you do half body training at the gym, how many workouts per week would you recommend as a minimum? Half body training days. So I try to do like 3 to 4. If you can do 4, that'd be great. How do you study in university with such low time? Efficiency. Um, just really try to pick out what the professors are going to ask on your tests, visit them in office hours, see what they want to focus on, and use that to guide your studying. Bradley, I talked about my. What do you mean by major workouts? I talked about my split, but what do you want more other than that? How do you come up with your own workout? Basically, you want to hit your body parts twice a week. So then I schedule that kind of based on my strengths and weaknesses, what I really want to improve, and then go from there. Yeah, that's pretty much how I do that. My favorite Kingdom Hearts character. I don't know. I'm not sure. Sora? No, not Sora. Definitely not Sora. I don't know. That's hard to choose. What are your major exercise workouts? Can you elaborate on that? How do you keep yourself organized as far as med school? Do you set up your how do you set up your study schedule? So, I don't go to class. I wait for the class recording. So I typically like before the recording's out, I'll be taking notes on yesterday's lecture, and then later in the day when the recording's out, like usually out by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when I'll watch that day's lecture. So I try to do it. I try to go over it twice before I review it with like friends or for a test. So the first time will be just watching the lecture and like highlighting or underlining specific points that the professor really stresses or emphasizes, and then after that I'll take notes over the whole PowerPoint. How do you relax? Watch shows. Yeah, I watch some shows to relax. Other than that, I think the gym is kind of relaxing in a way to like clear your mind. Um, just kind of forget about everything that you're stressing about. And I like showers. Showers are pretty relaxing to me. So, um, what type of pre-workout do you take? I take Ghost Legend. I was taking it before I was sponsored by them, and I really like it just because it's not like too intense, but it's energetic, or it gives you enough to like, I don't know, feel the effects. So it's not like it's like right in the middle. And if you don't like it, like if it's not strong enough, then you can take another scoop. So I think it's a good it's like in a good medium of pre workouts. Best pre med course ever. Uh, I'd say maybe genetics, just because you do a lot of genetics in med school. I believe you said you max out your med loans. How does that allow you? Does that allow you to live a comfortable life in med school? Are you making any plans on how to pay it back in the future? Yes, right now I am taking out max loans. I think maybe next year or the year after I might not, just um, depending on my on how much the wedding costs, the honeymoon, traveling for interviews, stuff like that, how sponsorships go. So right now I don't need to take max, but because getting married, I took max because I don't know what the expenses are going to be with that. But yeah, it does allow you to live a pretty comfortable life. Let's see. Tips for someone who has never worked out before and wants to gain muscle. Do you recommend protein powder? Um, do I recommend protein powder? Yes, absolutely. If you never worked out before, I would do a lot of go on YouTube, watch workout videos, watch tutorials, um, and also a lot of people start working out, but they don't really dial in the diet aspect of their training, and that's huge. That's like going to be the majority of the results you see. So really try to educate yourself on dieting and how to set up a proper diet. But but yeah, if you can kind of like start getting your diet structured and where you're eating high protein and moderate to low carbohydrates and fats, then I think you'll see a lot of success. Also hitting body parts twice a week, that's really important. If you have a difficult undergrad major like engineering, will med school take that into consideration when they look at your GPA? Possibly. I mean, the interview committee didn't bring up my GPA at all, and it was like wasn't the greatest. So I think they would. How many hours do you sleep per day? So before, like last semester, I was doing about 6. It was really draining me, but the courses were really intense, and now I'm doing about 7, and I feel like seven's a good medium for me. I mean, I wake up, I feel like I don't wake up super rested or anything like that, but I'm able to go throughout the day without wanting to take a nap or anything like that. What's a good workout plan? I think any plan that you can stick to and that you can hit each body part twice a week is a good workout plan. I appreciate it. I'm not sure how to say your name, Rajbir maybe. Yeah, I'll try to do live streams every other Saturday. I'll probably stop around March when I start really studying for my step one. Do you still do cardio while bulking? I do not, but it's not a bad thing to do. How do you choose a med school that was right for you? Mainly cost. That plays a huge factor. Just because like in-state schools are typically half the cost of out-of-state or private schools, and so like you got to think about it. At least in the U.S., do you want to be set? Do you want to graduate with $200,000 of loans or 400,000? I mean, I think that's a pretty easy choice right there. How old are you, and how are your friends in med school similar age? So I'm 25. I turned 26 in April. Most of them are actually around my age or like a year younger, 2 years younger. There are a few classmates who are older than me, but I would say it's like kind of mixed. Like a lot of people take a year or two between college and med school. Can a surgeon smoke weed while off duty? I suppose technically yes, but no one would really recommend that. What if you have a slightly lower GPA but an amazing SAT score? What do you think your chances are of getting into college? I think they're still high. If not, you could always go community college transfer route. How are you able to work out, study, meal prep, etc. every day on a lack of sleep? You just do it. I don't really know. I mean, if you really want it, you'll do it. How do you structure your study schedule? I kind of talked about that, so you can watch that in the uploaded version of the live stream. What did you do in between undergrad and med school? So, graduated in 2014 from undergrad. I took a little bit of a break. Did I take a break? Not too much. I took like a 2 month break. So in June, I enrolled in a like accelerated EMT course, and then that was 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, I like graduated from that course. I took my licensing exam, and then I was registered like by end of July, I think. And then I applied to a bunch of jobs, and while I was applying, I studied for my MCAT, and I took my MCAT October the year after I graduated, which was an okay time. I mean, like I took all the courses, but I didn't remember some of the earlier courses, especially like the earlier chemistry and biochem. I didn't really learn that well. So it was okay. I would probably recommend taking it in college if you can. So yeah, since education is, they don't go like so much into, they don't go in as much detail. So I think like I mean, you would have to obviously learn all that stuff, but you would have a really good general idea, general background, and like where you guys learn like doses and not necessarily doses, but how to administer things. Like I don't know, I feel like you guys learn more of the process of doing things, where we learn more of like why you do things. So it's a little bit different education, but you'll definitely have a good advantage. How do you study effectively, and if you're tired and aren't working out productively but are short on time? Um, if you're tired, drink coffee or something. And then if you're short on time, you got to pick out what you're weakest at, and study most efficiently. Thanks, Madison. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to answer one more question. Let me just scroll through here. um, reading some of these comments. Okay. What certification did you need to work in the ER in the job and in the job you're working? So I got my EMT certification. That's one way you can do it. You can also, I think a CNA might work. Or you could get, let's see. Yeah, I would say EMT or CNA is probably the best way to do that. How do you plan a wedding while in med school? It's tough, man. It's tough. I don't do a ton of it. I mean, we haven't really picked a date. We haven't picked a venue. We haven't picked anything yet. So it's gonna be tough. Is fast reading very helpful in studying? Depends if you retain it. If you don't retain it, there's no point. Um, all right, guys. So that's going to conclude the live stream. I gotta get working here. But yeah, let me show you guys real quick. All right. So, like I was saying, I made a new channel. It's called EJ's Life, and I'm going to be uploading the live stream onto here. So if you go, let's see, I don't know if this will work. EJ's Life. If you search it, let's see what comes up. Okay, it's not up here yet. So I'm going to post the link to the new channel on the community tab of my current page. So if you go. All right, so if you go, where is it? If you go to my channel, right here. So if you go to my channel, hit the community tab, I'm going to post the link in here. So you can find the link to the new channel here. All right, guys, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time.